Alrighty, it's WAN show time again. We have got a great show for you guys today, and I'll tell you what, if it is not a great show, you have someone altogether new to blame for it. And how fun is that?
Oh yeah!
James did the WAN show doc today.
I swear my chair's too high, isn't it?
Well,
this is the wrong chair.
I think. Oh, did someone change your chair? Where? Wait, did you change your chair? Wow. Wow. Well, I mean, I guess that's sort of a positive for Vertig here. I mean, if they're going to sponsor the WAN show, and their chair's not going to be on the WAN show where it's supposed to be, it should be at your desk because you took it because you like it, right?
Yeah. That is actually why I took it.
Okay, well, at least we got that going.
Okay, all right.
So we've got a lot of great topics for you guys today. Everything from not liking the WAN show and blaming @James_Gravity if you hate it, to PewDiePie being dropped by Disney after anti-Semitic stunt, to Samsung Heir arrested as part of South Korea's government scandal. I mean, at least they still have scandals there. We wouldn't know if we had a scandal over
Just
here.
too much stuff.
We wouldn't be able to tell
There's
the difference.
a website, I don't remember the exact URL, but it's something along the lines of like, what the F happened today? And it's like, it's literally just a like, what is going on in politics right now? Because it's such like a crazy storm of things.
The damage report? Yeah. That's what I do every morning. I'm just like, okay, what now?
Ryzen specs and prices leaked because it has been a week, and that means that there needs to be a topic about Ryzen specs and prices being leaked.
Yeah.
Also,
I won't say anything about Ryzen specs and pricing, but I will say that I'm going to be out of office next week for 3 days.
I will be too.
Yes.
For a different, unrelated reason.
Right. But yeah, you're not.
Is it next week? Wait.
No. You're the following week.
Yeah. For a different, unrelated reason. Yeah. Anyways. After that, Buzzfeed and Facebook try to break readers out of their social media bubbles. That sounds extremely untrue. We'll see what happens when we get there to that topic.
Yeah, okay. So, wait. That's it. Now I roll the intro, right?
Yes.
Do you think it'll work?
Yes.
Do you think it'll work?
I do.
Do you think it'll work?
I have 99.8% certainty.
I can't tell if it's working.
Me neither.
Maybe if I clench hard enough. Nope, I'm dead.
I love the quick and the bluntness of it.
Oh, yep. Yeah! Oh, sponsors. Hold on a minute, sponsors. DollarShapeClub.com. That should be, does it feel like the art of jingles has kind of been lost?
Yes, it's gone.
A
And
little
it's sad.
bit?
It makes me sad.
Like, from when I was a kid, and even like today, because many of these companies still haven't changed their jingles, but like, it's that cheesy AM radio sounding music recording.
Well, what's that mattress place?
Sleep Country, and whatever country you're in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they say USA?
Yeah.
Sleep Country USA?
Yeah.
Sleep Country USA.
Yeah, see, it works.
Why buy a mattress anywhere else?
Yeah, I think it goes better with Canada, but
Yeah.
there's so many of them, like Apple, Auto Glass.
Yes,
like,
yes.
It's just like the art of jingles has been lost. Like, I can't think of a single jingle that stands
like
out to me today.
That's new.
Yeah, that's new.
Because they still do like Sleep Country and stuff, but it's old school.
Yeah, but and you can tell it's old.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's bad.
It feels old.
Yeah, but I was just trying to think if there's like anything. Maybe we have McDonald's to blame for this because they used to have great jingles.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't think I remember McDonald's jingles.
You're pretty young. Okay, so
I'm not that much
McDonald's.
younger than you.
Yeah, but okay, so McDonald's is probably the most iconic jingle in my memory was "Have you had your break today?"
Okay.
That's old enough that you would have been like 3. And then after that,
We didn't watch TV much either.
it all went downhill.
So it had to be like radio.
The one after that was my McDonald's, and I was like, what the crap is this? It's terrible.
That's pretty rough.
It's awful. And then they were just like, no, we're too
They did the
trendy and
smile
cool.
thing. Oh wow, he brought you water.
Thank you very much. I heart WAN. Whose cup
Wow.
is this?
Is that yours?
So he
one.
technically broke the rules of the company to bring me water. So can I get mad at him?
I think you have to get mad at him and like at the exact same time. I thought you were gonna go for the whole thing.
No, I'm
You
saving
missed
a
it
little
by
bit.
like a tiny amount.
Oh no, I could have chugged like 2 of those.
Okay,
I've been hosting a video leading up to the show, so my mouth is really dry.
I got you.
Needs some lubrication. Maybe you could use some too.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
It's better as a team effort.
yeah. See, okay, we got. See, I don't remember KFC ever having "finger licking good" as a jingle though. Like that's a slogan.
Those are different.
That's not the same
Slogans
as a
are
jingle.
still around.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, the Folgers one. The best part
Yes.
of waking up is Folgers. Okay, I got it slightly wrong. I was going Sleep Country Ken. Cause the bestest part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Something along those lines, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, man. I'm just angry. All right, so do we have any actual tech topics today that have anything to do with any? Do you sweat when you take like a big chug of water? Like immediately
If
start
you're
sweating?
really dehydrated, yes.
Huh. Well, that seems counterproductive.
Not really. It needed to do that, but it was like conserving. And then you were like here, and it was like, thank
But
goodness.
I'm not hot.
But it's still, that's not the only reason.
So now
why
I'm
you sweat.
uncomfortable and cold.
Heat is not the only reason why you sweat.
Okay, why else do you sweat? Excitement?
I think it's like, I think it's to get rid of like impurities and stuff too, isn't it? You sweat stuff that isn't just
Yeah, but
water and salt out of your skin.
I sweat enough that I don't think that's an issue. No, there's like urea in sweat or something.
Yeah,
along
there's
those
like a
lines.
lot
There's
of,
like gross
like,
stuff in sweat.
Well, yeah, it's trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's like nasty.
I don't do the bio stuff. Don't listen to me.
Don't
Look
do
it
the
up.
bio stuff.
But sweat isn't just for heat reasons.
Kill me. Okay, PewDiePie,
No, it's illegal.
speaking of getting killed,
Oh,
got his deal with Disney killed after an anti-Semitic stunt. You know, it's really
so it's
funny.
Maker Studios. If people didn't know that, Disney owns Maker Studios.
I didn't know what anti-Semitic meant. I thought people.
What?
No, this was like I was in like high school or something. Like.
Oh,
I-
you mean like way back?
No, I know what it means now.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I was like, what the
I thought that people were upset about statements that went against like the true meaning of words. I thought it was anti-Semitic. And I was like, why does that matter? I mean, like, I value clear communication as much as anyone I know, but still, like I thought it was like people being upset about like, you know, getting all anal retentive about the meanings of things. I was like, what's wrong with that? Like, who cares? And it's like this big. Anyway, I figured it out later. It was in like social studies or something. I was like, oh.
that makes sense.
Oh, because so when it's to do with Judaism and Jewish people, it's Semitic.
Because Semite.
Got it. Yeah. Well, I figured that part out. I figured the link out later,
Yeah,
but I would have
yeah.
thought it would be like anti-Jewitic or something. Like because I didn't know the term Semite.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, so the point is, this was sort of an uncool thing that went down, and this is a stock image of PewDiePie looking really not that concerned about it because it's a stock image. But the original article here is from globalnews.ca of all things. But basically what happened is Disney said he crossed the line with some of his videos. So
But
what,
he didn't. Okay, to be fair, they didn't say that until like the Wall Street Journal made this like super out of context slanderous video, and then they were like, "Oh no, people are reporting." That's okay. I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit, but one of my least favorite things about
Dishonest
this
media.
entire oh my god, one of my least favorite things about this entire endeavor has been the sheer amount of people. There's been a lot of people that have stepped up to support him, which in my opinion is great because that's what should probably be happening right now. But the sheer amount of people that attacked him for it, that definitely watched his videos before and were cool with it until someone else was like, that's bad. And they were like, oh no, it is. Like, come on, man. I don't know. He's been gaining subscribers through this.
Yeah, it's unclear whether the subscriber bleeds here are corrections or whether, because I know YouTube has done, those are not corrections. Okay, so yes, he has bled some subscribers. So out of his previously 53 million, he now has 53.5 million because he gains faster than he can possibly lose because he's PewDiePie. So in terms of like his business, I doubt he's really going to suffer. But
well, Scare PewDiePie was canceled.
Okay, all right.
So like there is direct business.
So what happened exactly?
He has made a number of videos where there was like what you could potentially see as anti-Semitic imagery. One of the interesting responses that I've seen so far is when H3H3 responded, because they're like friends, and he is Jewish. So like you'd think that wouldn't really work. And Ethan was just like, yeah, he's totally cool. Everything's totally fine. So that was an interesting response so far. All of the images were... When you take things out of context, you can make them look like pretty much whatever you want. And when you take this stuff out of context specifically, you can really make it look really bad. Especially when you put it in like a video with like, you fade out the back and you put some white text on it, like Wall Street Journal did. I think it was Wall Street Journal. Hopefully that's correct. And then you make like, ugh, this is horrible. And then they show it with no context around it. All of the times that he did something like this, it was to contrast something else. Like one time it was to show that the YouTube, like everyone's a moderator now, YouTube Insider program or whatever it was called, he was comparing that to like terrible Nazi practices.
Okay.
He wasn't saying the Nazi practices were good. He wasn't condoning them. He was like, this is terrible. I'm going to shoot way too far and explain this thing. And he has said himself, like, I'm an amateur comedian. I went too far with some of these jokes. But like, this is not me. You're taking them out of context. I wasn't saying they're positive things. With the sign...
Okay, so we should explain, this was the incident that kind of snowballed into what it's become now. So, and again, taken within the appropriate context, and I agree with his statement that he clearly went too far, because there isn't a lot of like great context in which you can take something like this. But basically, PewDiePie used, I think it was Fiverr. I don't know if you're familiar with Fiverr. It's a service where you can pay $5 for people to do something. So through Fiverr, he paid two men to hold up a sign that said "Death to all Jews."
Which is not great. His point here was that the people on this website would do nearly anything for $5. And he was trying to say how that isn't like a good thing. And he was able to get these guys to hold up this sign that he does not agree with at all, and it's very bad, and generally people would not do for $5, but he was showing on this website you can get people to do this crazy stuff for $5.
But this created a lot of problems because those guys who issued an apology video afterwards saying we didn't know what the sign said. Like, English is not a real strong point for us. We had no idea. Those guys were getting attacked online for people thinking that they were extremists until sort of the truth started to come out. And
they probably should have checked, but like, I get it at the same time.
For $5, you're not going to be able to have your legal department check with your comms department and...
Yeah, Google Translate is a super difficult tool to use.
Still.
I don't know, man. Like, it was not great. He could have definitely used something else to get his point across.
Yeah.
He was trying to make it ultra impactful. He's... shock
humor,
basically. And he's a YouTuber that relies on clicks like we all do. So being able to use that to get clicks would definitely super work. And it definitely super worked. It just worked a little bit too much.
Yeah,
I guess.
To the wrong people.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Yeah, I mean, do we just have to kind of straw poll this? Because
Maker dropping him and Disney dropping him and all that kind of stuff is one thing. And it's like a company decision. where
Yeah.
they're like, we don't want this stuff to happen, and apparently this isn't the first time it's been brought up, and like a couple other things. That's one thing. Everyone claiming that he's like a racist and stuff, I absolutely don't think that's true.
Right.
But attacking him personally and attacking him as a business are two totally different things.
So I want to know from you guys, do you think this was an overreaction? Sorry?
Turn it.
Nah. I want real answers. Do you guys think it was an overreaction in the context of what he was doing, or do you think
for
that
what
there's
though?
For I think people's
What statement? What action?
Okay. So getting dropped
Okay.
and people attacking him.
Yeah, but those are different things.
Okay.
Getting the maker dropping him because they're like, we don't want these images on a partner channel,
Yep.
is totally different than people calling him actually a racist.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I just want to know in general, do people
Okay.
think that the reaction to what he did is an overreaction, or do you think it's appropriate? Because I'll say for myself, there is no place on a Linus Media Group channel for an image that contains those sentiments. I can't think of any context where I would consider that appropriate to upload.
And this is why I'm saying the drop and the company decision is
Yeah.
something totally different.
Yeah.
though. Because that I like, I'm not even going to dive into whether or not I agree with what they did, but they have absolutely the right to do that.
Yes.
If they're like, we don't want these things on our affiliated channels, sure, that's totally up to them. But calling him a racist for it is a different thing.
So it looks like most of our audience thinks this is overall an overreaction to what was, in my mind, clearly meant to be an illustration of a point, even if I personally don't think it's in good taste.
Yeah, like, I don't think it was in good taste.
But like, what about PewDiePie was in good taste? I mean, that's the real question here. From not people calling him a racist, but from Maker and Disney dropping him. From that perspective, is like, what's the imaginary line that he suddenly crossed here? I
Yeah,
mean, he
'cause
was
he's-
already foul-mouthed, completely inappropriate.
I
and
find it hilarious.
a shock and awe channel,
Which
basically.
I find hilarious. But, like,
But he was already not Disney
you should have
princess
known
friendly.
that. Yes.
Yes.
And they should have known that. And this should have been, yeah, I completely agree.
I mean, maybe, though, they were already toying with this idea, and this is an opportunity to separate the brands. Maybe. It's possible. I mean, we never know what goes on in the boardroom, right?
Yeah. Like I said, the company decision, I don't, that's their thing.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to do. And I totally get it. Like you just said with Linus Tech Tips and affiliated brands or whatever, if I were you, I would hold the exact same opinion.
Right.
Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, I want nothing to do
I
with
don't
that.
wanna
When
touch it.
people,
I don't wanna be near it.
when my channel icon, when my trademark is sitting next to a video, I don't want that image in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I totally get that, especially from a business point of view. But, like, looking at him as a person, I don't believe that about him as a person whatsoever at all. I
No.
find his content hilarious. He needs a business partner unit that wants to accept that kind of stuff, and I'm 100% certain they're out there.
Oh, I'm sure they're out there too.
Yeah.
I mean, we had what's their face? The porn site. Was
Pornhub?
it Pornhub or was it like?
What do you talk? What is the
Yeah, the one that
context
wanted
for
to
this?
sponsor us
Pornhub.
to do like more dildo racing videos
Pornhub.
and stuff like. Okay, it was Pornhub.
I said we should do it. I told Colton to do it, and then you
And-
heard wind of it, and we're like, no.
Yes, I cut that off, and it's not like. And to be clear,
I get it.
I don't have like a strong moral objection to people watching porn or anything like that. It's just not helpful for our company image and our brand to be associated in the eyes of other people who we do want to work with. And so it would have been a bad business move, and
I just thought it would have been hilarious.
it got killed so hard. So hard.
And that's fair. Yeah.
All right.
See, the whole chat's down, but that's the problem.
Yeah.
We have to market to, like, I don't know.
I mean, well, yeah, it's not any secret what brands we work with. You
Yeah.
know, we work with Samsung
And we're trying to look friendly to them.
and Intel and AMD and Microsoft and like,
And, like, we'll attack those guys for their products, but we don't want to put them in an awkward situation of, like, being affiliated with a company that they don't want to be near.
Everyone worries about that. I mean, one of the most precious things you have as a company, maybe the most precious thing you have in many cases, is your brand, is that icon or that slogan or that
What?
jingle.
Jingle. Nice. There
Jingle.
You go. Yeah.
And to put that in any kind of negative light is something that brands will fight really hard against. And we're talking trivial stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you have too many pixels of white border, or not enough, usually. Not enough pixels of border around a logo. Or if you throw a drop shadow on somebody's font that they put their tagline in, you'll get like, so working at NCIX, okay, so we would put together campaigns for tech companies, and so we would take their assets and we would combine them into like things with, you know, our product page and our product photos and all that, and then we would put it up on the site. And there are brands that would straight up, because so there's the profit margin that a retailer makes. So let's say they buy this cup at $1 and they're expected to sell it at, you know, $1.50 or whatever the case may be. So there's that margin, but then there's also marketing funds, so usually called MDF. So for each glass we sell, we might also get 20 cents of kickback at the end of the quarter. And in exchange, because it's not just for selling the glass, because if it was that simple, they would just sell it to us at 80 cents in the first place.
Yeah.
And we would just take 70 cents of margin. No, that kickback is for being a supportive partner. So you have to put together a list of all the things you did to support the sales of this product and the propagation of this brand message to your customers. So inclusion in things like email newsletters, landing pages, banners on the top of the site, NCIX Tech Tips videos, for example, all that kind of stuff. You put together this report that says, we did this, and this, cut us that check for that extra kickback that we qualify for. And if you screw it up and you put the brand in the wrong context, in the wrong spot on the page, or next to Pornhub's logo, they're just not going to cut the check.
Which would have been hilarious.
Which would have been really funny, but I never did.
Yeah. Which totally makes sense.
Did I ever talk about porn on NCIX Tech Tips? It must have come up at some point. I must have at least hinted at it.
We have how to hide your porn.
Ugh.
Like, we've touched the topic.
Yeah, here, yes, but back when I was like actually, you know, a suit, I never wore a suit.
And wasn't there an ad on that video, or did we put no integration?
I'm not sure what. You know what? I don't think we put an integration on it.
I'm gonna check.
Okay, you check the hide your porn video. Speaking of which, I think that has like 1 million views now.
Yeah, I heard it did really well in China.
The community.
No, like seriously, like I've heard it. It's at 1.36 million views.
Wow.
And the like to dislike at the beginning was like pretty bad.
Oh, it was savage.
It's going up slowly. It's actually like.
It's going right up.
It's still bad, but it's wow. See, like we have that on our channel. Look at these guys.
Yeah. It's a 6-minute video. There's no way it's
that shirt.
You're wearing the Highlander shirt. So you've got an Asus, an Intel, and wasn't it someone else too for Highlander? Corsair. Asus, Intel, and Corsair have their logo all over how to hide your porn. That 1.3 million people say, man, this video was so
Sausage
like
recipes.
saucy.
Yeah, it was.
So
the
saucy.
amount of like weird little B-roll things we did was.
I know, like polishing the. That's disgusting. Okay, here. You know what? No, I don't have that. I actually don't have yours plugged in right now. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh man.
Integration.
If you guys haven't, I don't think there's an integration on it. No ad spot. So here we go. Where's
no integration?
That's just awful. Where's the sausage?
There it is.
So that's just a sneak peek at the kind of visuals that there were in this video.
Oh my god.
I remember talking about like this video way back when we were at NCIX still. Either you pitched it to me or we were just casually talking. I was like, yeah, I've always kind of wanted to do this. I don't remember. But I remember after you figured out that it was somewhere in the back of my mind that maybe it was an acceptable idea, you were like, let's do it! Let's do it! And it took a few years.
I'm really stoked that we did this.
You know, it felt like maybe it was a bad decision at the time, and we took flack from other creators too.
She might even be watching this, so hi, Mom. But I was I was on her computer trying to fix something, and I found that this video had been 100% watched or whatever. They have the new watch duration thing. Yeah. Now, to be fair, my mom will just like watch literally everything. And I think sometimes she'll just be like watching and then just start doing something else, or like leave the computer and it'll just autoplay like a whole bunch of our videos.
I'm sure she wouldn't have gotten distracted from that.
But I saw that and I was like, oh man. I'm so sorry, Mom.
I think maybe it's just like it's like a double-edged sword, right? Like on the one hand, my family has no idea what I do, but on the other hand, they have no idea what I do.
Yeah. I like my family knowing what I do. I feel bad that like my mom had to watch that video because that's just super weird. But like usually it's cool.
I can't even like I have kids now. I can't imagine watching one of my kids sit and like flick a raw sausage on camera.
Oh, and like, okay, you want to do the weird part about that too. What about when you see 100% watch time on that video from your kid?
Oh. I don't even. You know what?
Because they would need some tips to hide it from you. Because you're a tech guy.
Yeah, you know, it's really funny. Like, I remember as a kid, like this is going to be a huge
note for Linus's kids: safe browsing, private browsing will not be enough for you.
Yeah, this is a huge generational difference here, in that our generation and our parents' generation, your dad probably to a lesser extent than either of my parents and your mom. But there is going to be such a difference in the...
because he's like tech savvy, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
in the degree of tech savviness between the generations.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at what's going on going, I'm a little bit out of touch. Like, I don't snap.
Okay.
So I'm not necessarily up on, you know, I've never played, you know, what's that mobile game that everyone plays with like armies? Or
Clash of Clans?
Clash of Clans.
Or whatever else.
So I've never installed Clash of Clans on a mobile device.
Neither have I, but you know what's going on.
There's certain
and you
things.
Could.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's certain things that my generation is going to be behind on by the time my son is 11
VR.
You know, and getting curious. Anyway, so I'm a little bit out of touch, but I'm also savvy enough to understand, like my parents didn't understand that you could delete the history from a browser.
Yeah.
And that's really different. Whereas like my kids are gonna have to be VPNing, realizing that I know what VPN traffic, encrypted traffic looks like. Like there's a whole other sort of game that's gonna go on.
Really intense. Like I'm actually really excited to like hear the stories of how this goes down. Because hiding that from someone who's adminning your network and knows what they're doing is like sort of next level.
I'm not an expert, but I'm also not an idiot, and I can learn this stuff.
Yeah, and I expect you would. That's what I mean.
I haven't tooled around with enough networking stuff to consider myself even a beginner.
It's fairly basic stuff, though.
By the standards by which I judge myself. I'm not even a beginner, but I know enough to know where the book to read is, and I know enough to read the book and figure it out.
You just proved that you're old.
When the time could have been an ebook on transcript of a lynda.com course. You understood what I meant.
Yeah.
Which makes you old too.
Yeah, that's fair. I still read physical books.
But like honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this coming generation goes full circle and has like nudie printouts, magazines. Because I wouldn't even think to look for that. I mean, now that I've thought about it. But
it might be literally easier to just physically hide something. Yeah.
Maybe.
Back in the shed or something weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhere that you just,
I mean, I would probably find it in the shed. I mean, that's where I keep But seriously,
Yeah.
yep. Although there were some tips that we gave that were very good. So the
Yes.
dedicated viewing device,
Yeah.
where you keep everything contained, you keep it off the network, you refuel it when you're on a connection that is outside of anywhere where an admin would be able to watch you. So there are certain tips that we gave in the How to Hide It video
Yeah.
that could defeat me.
But the dedicated device, I don't know, because
That's tough. You have to own it,
and you have to physically hide it.
and you have to hide it.
And if you find an electronic device that you've never heard of or seen before,
And that I can't
hidden,
get into.
that you can't get into, all of those things, you can't get into it. It's hidden. You've never
Yeah.
heard of or seen it before.
That's getting confiscated so hard. You can have this back when you're 18.
Right.
I seriously, I don't know what kind of parent I'm going to be about a lot of things. Like, I'm super strict about some stuff, and then other stuff, like, I'm pretty chill. So I don't really know. But like, I don't. It's amazing.
Are you just gonna like figure it out when it happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can guess what kind of a parent you're going to be, but like, I never would have. So okay, so I would have known.
Are you like the talk parent? Like you're gonna wait till it happens and then have the talk?
I don't
And, like explain what it is and like
I don't know, cause like, I speak pretty frankly.
yes.
Like, I'm not going to shy away from the word penis.
No.
At all. And like, but on the flip side, it's like, you know what? No, maybe I will. I'll probably just go for it. I'll probably just like, yeah, I'll probably just go for it. I'll be like, okay, so this is why rim jobs are a bad idea. And it might seem good in a movie,
Yeah.
but this is
Here are all the reasons why not.
these are all the
honestly,
problems with it.
In my opinion, that's a good idea, because too many people just see the stuff and then have no context for why it may or may not be bad,
Right.
and then that's worse. And you will never actually completely stop them if they really want to.
I think we also live in an age where this information is so easily
Yes.
accessible that I'm not convinced it really matters anymore.
Yes.
Um,
It might be better coming from like a trusted.
Somehow I managed to bypass sexual education in both, I think it's grade 5 or grade 6 when it comes up the first time, and then I think grade 10 when it comes up the second time.
Mine was grade 7.
For some reason, so I changed schools in grade 6, and then
Okay, so it was at a different.
so it
part
had
of the
already
year.
been done at the and then in high school I don't know what happened exactly, but I never got sexual education. I mean, it's a miracle I know what to do with it at all. Maybe I don't. Maybe
I
the
mean, it seems to be working pretty
yeah,
well.
it seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem to be that difficult to kind of piece it together. So I don't know.
My mom stepped up,
Did she?
gave us the talk. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Relatively early on, to the point where like when we started sex ed in class,
Yeah.
and all these kids were like, "But what is that?" I was like, "Are you all idiots?" Like, I don't know. I felt better about that.
Right.
To be completely honest. I personally prefer knowing more things, even if those things may be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I've always believed in that mantra.
I'm gonna have to tackle it when I get to it though, because like
Yeah.
I would have known that I'm the kind of parent who's never gonna let his kids win at anything. Like, people were upset that I didn't let my son win at cribbage, because like I should just be impressed that he's playing crib and he's 4. He can count his own 15s and runs and pairs
cool.
and 3 of a kind and all that stuff. Like, really impressive. He has a little trouble remembering when he has a flush or nibs, but he's doing real well. But I'm not gonna let him win. And people were like upset on Twitter, and like I crushed him at Risk and posted a picture of that on Twitter, and people were like, "Ooh," and I'm like,
But then it's
no.
more of an accomplishment
That's
when
right.
you win. My thing, like the little girl at the Nintendo event.
Yeah.
I did genuinely want to let her win, but that wasn't my kid.
Yes,
That was
and
how
that's
I
different.
approached that.
Yes.
I didn't want to do that, even though it happened, stupid training wheels, whatever, because it, again, wasn't my kid. If I was, I don't want one, but if I was in Linus's position, I'd probably do the same thing. Because then when they do beat you,
It has to mean something.
yeah.
Trophies need to mean something.
And like real accomplishment is like
And-
really cool and something that you can't get in all areas.
Beating me at badminton needs to be a real trophy. Like,
And
I'm-
like you'll go like get food after.
That's right.
And like have a conversation.
and then I'll cry.
yeah.
Yes, because I will be officially supplanted as the man of the house.
You do that based on badminton. Oh, that's awesome.
Well, what else do I have going for me?
That's fantastic.
Should we do some actual news topics or something?
Man, the show's like
Half over.
yeah.
Whoa, it's like half over. Okay, this show is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club, where when you're a man but you're not supplanted yet, you can shave your face and look younger, just like Luke did the last couple of weeks, which was actually, you know,
Wildly unintentional.
I used to like babyface Luke, and now I think babyface Luke is. We'll throw that baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. Rugged Luke works a lot better for Luke and for Linus.
Yeah.
And I think it works better for everyone.
Yeah. So, like, normally I'm not even just saying this because the ad spot, I legitimately use Dollar Shave Club razors down here where you get, like, the neck beardy thing.
Yeah, because neckbeard is like...
I don't want that. That gets clean shaved.
Yeah.
Like, getting rid of it.
Neckbeard is not even a, like, you should do it to be like, haha, I'm doing something uncool, like socks and sandals.
It just doesn't even, like, grow in well.
No, it just looks like you don't care.
Yeah. So, but normally I like having, like, the normal kind of beard thing.
Okay.
And that would be trimmed, and then this would be shaved.
Yeah, so what's up right now?
What happened right now is I have this super fancy, cost me an annoying amount of money electronic razor thingy.
Yeah.
And you change the level that the guard is at electronically.
Yeah.
And it shows on the display. So I was spamming the up button because I was like, I want it to not take off very much at all. And it would like glitch out and not go up every time I pressed it, but I was like, whatever. And I eventually got up to the maximum setting and I was like, okay, cool.
Oh.
And I went like this. And like it doesn't shave that well, so I hold it in my hand like this and just went grrr, and just cut this whole side down, and it went like almost straight down to skin. I ended up sending a picture to Jake. Jake has it where I finished up because I did half, so I just finished up and made it like Two-Face, and it was insane. The like full beard and then completely gone. And I was like, okay, well I can't do this, so I have to finish both sides. And then it was just gone. And it's funny because the end of my personal rig video, I'm like, I'm gonna shave now, and I was intentionally just cleaning it up. And then the ad spot immediately afterwards is like the next day with no hair. And everyone in the comments was like, holy crap, you're really ugly. And I'm like, that wasn't the goal. I was just trying to make it a little bit tinier.
So
I
learn
wasn't
from
trying to
Luke.
shave it off.
Don't be ugly. Visit dollarshaveclub.com/Linus. They've got an offer now where you can try out their top tier razor for, I think it's the first month is free or something. Anyway, after that, it's just a couple bucks a month. Couple bucks a month. They send high quality razors, and they have other bathroom supplies as well, straight to your door, so you don't have to get people on the internet telling you that you are ugly.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. You can have a beard and still use a blade. Good stuff. Shave the neck beard.
So Samsung Heir arrested as part of South Korea's government scandal. Dun, dun, dun.
This is intense.
So the original article here is from CBC.ca. J.Y. Lee is a suspect in influence peddling scandal that led to the impeachment of the South Korean president. They have got a thing going on over there, though it surprises me that it even made the news. Relative to a lot of other stuff going on. So what is...
Samsung paid tens of millions
allegedly,
of dollars, along with allegedly a $830,000 horse.
Wow.
For the president to exert pressure on Korea's National Pension Service to support a merger of two Samsung Group companies.
I see. So this merger would make it easier for J.Y. Lee to gain control over Samsung. Wow. Way to go, James.
Failure.
Typo. Samsung. Shares in Samsung fell 1.3%. Samsung Electronics Co. Limited, and shares in Samsung C&T Corp. fell 2.8. Did I say 1 point something else?
You said 1.3.
Well, good for me.
It's all good.
You know what? That's it. I quit.
Well, then all I was saying was that wasn't a James problem. It's been dealt with.
Okay, that's
now.
fair.
Yeah.
Ryzen specs and prices leaked.
Again. I think it's been 3 or 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Here's another picture of a CPU.
Wait, it's WCCF Tech. I thought the last time they leaked it, they said it was official.
Wait, what?
So this
Is this
time
even
it's,
the same
it's
article?
leaked again.
Is this the same article as last week?
When was it posted?
February 12th.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
So is this
So-
one more or less official?
Oh,
than
hold
the
on.
one
I
that
don't
was
think.
official?
Wait, did we have what? I don't think we had quad and 6 cores last time.
So this one is just as official.
So you can tell
there's more of it.
how totally leaked and not being carefully doled out by AMD this information is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. So quad core 3.2 to 3.5 gigahertz with overclocking. Apparently, all Ryzen CPUs will support overclocking. Is $130. It could be a very good time to be a value consumer again. You can get hyper-threading, so an i7 competitor for $175. I shouldn't call it hyper-threading. Turbo-thread? I don't know what they call it. This is
Oh,
going to
dear.
get really confusing really fast. My life has been really easy
Yes.
for the last 4 years, because all I have to care about is like the Intel TM names for things, because no one cares about AMD's equivalent. So there's hyper-threading, and there's GPU boost.
Like
Now-
I feel like we need those guys just for the fact that now AMD CPUs are going to be like a thing.
Yeah. I'm
Because it's going to be
stoked.
so much more work.
I am stoked. Yeah,
is
'cause
great,
Every video
'cause we have
card
more
now.
to do.
Every video card we're gonna have to test
Both.
on AMD and Intel again.
Literally twice as many benchmarks.
Can you imagine that? It has been so long since anyone even asked.
And we'll have to do like RAM stuff.
Can you remember the last time anybody asked us to benchmark a new video card on an AMD platform?
That would have been back in the garage, 2013. Wow. So it's 2017 now. So you can do the math on that.
Savage.
Like, yeah, we'll have to do RAM because the new platform might have different
Maybe there'll be a
effects
difference.
on it.
Maybe
Yeah.
it'll matter because it's
Maybe
only
it'll
dual
matter
channel.
if you don't do like an i3 with a Titan XP. Maybe it'll matter
Yeah.
in like more scenarios than that.
Yep.
It's
possible.
Yeah, like it's just gonna have to do everything.
Cool. All right.
So much more work.
What else we got? That's
But
okay.
maybe we can do like a 4-part video. Yeah, guys? Yeah?
You know what? I'm down to do more work though.
Maybe not.
As long as it's something that's exciting.
Yes. No, I'm totally down.
And bringing the fun and like exploration back into a new
Yep.
CPU launch is like getting really exciting for me. But what I have to say though is I'm falling into the trap again. AMD has
Yeah.
done this to me a lot of times
Yeah.
where it has looked really promising
I'm not falling into the trap.
and then they have crapped on me. I'm getting excited. So
I have become, other than with Nintendo, which I'm just okay with, I have become an expert at curbing excitement. Mm-hmm. I do not care. And then it'll be on a bench, and I'll get super, super stoked. I'm very excited to get it on a bench. I don't even really care outside of that. Then we'll see how it goes.
I'm excited for the marketplace looking really different 6 months from now. And
Hopefully.
I hope that they pull through because this will be the last time that I will get my hopes up, which I have said before.
Unless it works. Then there'll be one more time.
Then there'll be one more time. Buzzfeed and Facebook try to break readers out of their social media bubbles. The original article is from Bloomberg. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Why does it say and Facebook? That doesn't make any sense. So BuzzFeed tries to break readers. So the publisher will expose audience to
It's a
opinions from
different-
across the web.
Different article for Facebook.
Okay. News outlets seek out other viewpoints after the surprise election.
BuzzFeed's Outside Your Bubble feature will appear at the bottom of its widely shared articles so that they can claim that they're doing this and no one will ever click on it and it won't matter.
So the idea then is to get readers to understand or at least be exposed to viewpoints of people who don't think like they do.
If they go to the bottom of an article and click on what is probably a small button.
And click on what looks like probably a promoted story. Although,
Probably.
what I will say is this. Someone out there is clicking on promoted stories and believing stuff that is obviously nonsense.
Yeah.
Someone is doing that.
Or else it wouldn't be such a huge thing.
Or else it wouldn't be down there. And those articles might sound slightly more credible.
There's on the front page of BuzzFeed, there was a serious investigation article about how this person is sad that their bagel wasn't cut in half as effectively as they would want it to. And I don't understand why this website exists.
You know what's really funny though is I have probably done a longer rant than that about the worst Subway sandwich anyone ever made for me. I'm pretty sure you've heard it.
Okay.
Have you not?
I think I have, but I feel like this was much more interesting.
Okay.
Might as well go for it.
I'm going to tell the Subway sandwich rant. This was bar...
Also, hold up, before you go.
Yeah.
I cannot find this button.
How far down do you have to go?
I don't know. I've been going for a while. I might have missed it.
Maybe it hasn't been deployed yet?
Like, I went through the main article.
Yeah.
I got here. I was like, okay.
Maybe it's on the sidebar.
I tried the more button. Doesn't seem to be that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there was a period where I don't remember when this was. It must have been about 10 years ago. Maybe like 10, 11 years ago. So that would make it what, like 2015? So when was the anyway, whatever. It was a period where jobs were like coming back, and it was fairly obvious that at entry-level positions, they were having a very hard time, at least here in Vancouver, filling them. Every clothing store had help wanted signs for like sales representatives. Every restaurant had help wanted signs in the windows for like cashiers and waiters and waitresses and stuff like that. So I walked into a Subway, and this must have been the worst Subway employee that I have ever encountered in my entire life. I said, okay, I would like a foot-long sub on this kind of bread, and we got that far okay. And then I had my tuna on it, and I said, could I have 2 layers of tomato? And the guy picks up 2 slices of tomato and puts them on either end of the sandwich, either end of a foot long, looks at me expectantly. And I go, no, 2 layers. And so, and this was the part where my hand almost made it all the way through my forehead to the back of my skull. He picks up the tomato on the one end, puts it on top of the one at the other end, totally straight face, like I'm pretty sure he wasn't like messing with me.
Was he high?
And looks at me expectantly. And I actually, my mouth was moving. I couldn't get words out of it. And the shift supervisor kind of scurries over and goes, I'll take it from here, grabs a thing of tomatoes, and puts it across the rest of the sandwich and finishes making my sandwich. Meanwhile, I can barely even think about what I want to put on it. I can't believe what I just witnessed. And you might go, look, Linus, that's racist, yo. He probably didn't understand English or something. But I don't buy it. I said 2, and he managed to get 2 pieces of tomato. And I said layers, and he managed to put one on top of the other. So he understood 2, and he understood layers. Why would anybody want either of those configurations? Impossible. And I think that's much worse than the bagel being cut in half the wrong way.
Also, I tried to find it on the US website, manually navigated there.
Yep.
Nothing.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out later.
So they're not trying that hard, is probably where I'm going to put that.
All right, so Ars Technica, the dad who live streamed his son's birth by accident on Facebook, loses in court. He tried to sue TV companies that picked up the video, but it was protected under fair use, where basically the court said that where pictures or videotapes themselves are the focus of a major news story, news reporters may make brief use of selected footage to explain to the public what the story is about. This is really interesting. Original article from The Verge. YouTube to kill unskippable 30-second ads next year. But, dun, dun, dun. Oh, that's
That was
as far
pretty
in
good.
as I can zoom.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I was doing my best there. But don't celebrate just yet. There will still be shorter unskippable ads. So, there you go. Yep.
Cool.
This is interesting. Bill Gates figures that robots that take your job should pay taxes. This is actually wow. Initially I kind of went, well, that's super dumb. I'm disappointed. You were such a smart guy before. But this is potentially the solution to the...
They'd have to pay an inordinate amount of taxes.
to what I said last... Was it last week? Where I was saying that companies that replace workers are going to have to pay extra taxes to allow for some kind of social security net for the people who aren't going to have jobs. I got a lot of criticism under the video last week. People calling me a socialist or whatever else.
I think a lot of the problems around this is going to be what defines a robot.
Well, if it's Microsoft, it's going to be probably a per core license. Or something along those lines. Like the government will probably have to redefine what constitutes a person replacement.
Yeah, because like that has happened a lot already.
Yep.
With automated machines.
Yep. So, I mean, they'll probably have to work out some kind of a system based on the current unemployment rate, and much like property taxes, the way that they change from year to year depending on how the real estate market is performing, I suspect they could come up with some kind of an index that kind of goes, okay, you have this proportion of the actual employment that's actually out there. You have automated X amount. This is how much you owe to make up the difference for all the people that clearly don't have jobs at all.
Then there's going to be some tax loop if your company is based out of Texas or something, and everyone will pay nothing and everything will go on like normal. Cool.
Yeah.
Or Delaware? It's Delaware, right?
I'm not sure.
I think Delaware is the tax place.
But, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point because this...
Delaware tax haven.
I mean, there's also just the fact that the government, for people not being working, is giving up that income tax.
Yep.
So not only are there going to be more people to support, like, this is a problem we actually have to solve. And, like, I had people making arguments to me like, no, this just frees up people to, like, do better stuff. And...
Like what?
No one wants to talk about this, but like, if that were true, if losing your job driving a coal truck was going to turn you into a best-selling novelist or something, or even a crappy novelist, if that were how this works, if people were just going to make money from people giving them money by doing something creative or becoming a professor or whatever the case may be, then we would have already seen that. We wouldn't have the situation that we're in right now in the States with people who just want their jobs back, who have potentially been out of work for many years at this point, still not having work. It's just not how it works, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sort of a big problem, like, already. Look at, like, I'm my biggest worry, and it's not just my biggest worry, it's like a lot of different people's biggest worry is cars, because the transport sector is, I believe, the biggest employment sector in the States.
Yep.
And like semis and taxi cabs and all this kind of stuff are a really freaking big deal.
Yep.
And
Not to
that's going to be automated
drones.
like soon.
Yep, very, very soon. And I mean, there's another factor here. Electric cars do not need nearly the same degree of maintenance that internal combustion engine cars do. So all of a sudden, car maintenance is going to go from oil changes and transmission fluid and
to hot swapping motors.
To hot swapping batteries, motors, and you'll need to replace your tires, basically. Because even light bulbs are going to be LED.
Which can probably all be done at automated, you drive up, it lifts up your car. Or it doesn't even lift up your car, it just drops the floor out of under it, other than where your wheels are.
So
Elon Musk talked about how you would be able to swap out a battery pack faster than you could fill up your car with gas. So they could probably do other stuff too.
Very interesting, and you know, it's one of those things where, like,
he wasn't saying that electric cars didn't break down more than traditional cars. He was saying that the maintenance on them is much different.
Yeah. Yeah, they can break down.
Chat tried to call you out.
Sure, of course they can call you down or call you out. Yeah, of course anyone can call me out. Yeah, I'm sort of a big target. Of course they can break down, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the regular maintenance that I have to do like every 2 months on my car.
And what that maintenance entails.
Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Automatable that maintenance would be.
That's right. Oh boy. Scary. Okay. What else we got here? Nintendo Switch system menus leaked? Really? That's
It's
news?
really
Way to go,
boring.
James!
It's really boring. I watched the whole thing. It's boring.
Okay.
I'm a Nintendo fanboy, and I was like, okay, it's a system menu. All right. Okay. There's icons, and you scroll through them, and then you like type in your information, and it makes you an account. Hooray!
Star Wars: The Last Jedi is officially plural. We can tell because when it was translated to Spanish, that's plural. So that's good. So I finally saw Rogue One.
Oh.
And
Has it been enough time? Probably.
I think so. It's only playing in like 3 theaters in the Lower Mainland at this point. Like if you haven't seen it in the theater by now, you're probably not seeing it in the theater. I like barely made it, and I honestly I apologized for taking my wife to it afterward, and I have to go see 50 Shades Darker as penance now, because
She wants to see that?
that was not a good movie.
She wants to see that.
She is.
I'm a little disappointed.
She is otherwise. She is.
I'm like rather disappointed. Like this is like a. Like I'm not mad.
Okay, she acknowledges that it isn't good. She knows it's bad. I don't know. I have never seen the first one. Like, have you?
No.
Like, do you know how bad it is?
I don't know about the movie, but I know the premise of the books, and I've read articles of like sex positive people reviewing the book and being like, this is morally and like emotionally and physically bad, because even if you want to like play with these types of dynamics, what is described in the book is literally abuse.
So
Because like things aren't communicated properly. You could do the same stuff if you communicated it properly, but it's not. And
I don't know.
That's really bad.
I've never read the books. I've never seen the original movie. Anyway, the point is, I now, thanks to Rogue One, have to go see a trashy movie.
I'm very sorry for you.
Yeah, and so am I. And I'm almost as sorry for myself that I had to see Rogue One, because there were some good moments. But so spoiler alert, there were some good moments, but there was some incredibly immersion and flow breaking stuff in that movie.
Okay,
Like-
what was immersion breaking?
Okay, so
Let's
here's,
start there.
first of all, the score was terrible. I couldn't believe how bad the musical score was for a Star Wars
I was
movie.
not a fan of the score.
It actually took me out of the movie multiple times where I went, why did they change something about the iconic Star Wars tune right now just then? Why? There was no reason to change that. And the opening music, like right when it opens, is bad. There's no opening text scroll, but like I'm not gonna get too sort of upset about that.
I think the idea there is that it's not a mainline movie, but yeah.
Here is one of the biggest. Okay, so a couple times it was just really bad writing and bad acting. So the delivery of the inspirational, motivational speech to the rebel command was awful. It
was pretty rough.
It was abominable, and the shots of the reactions in the room. I mean, the actress.
She's very good at being sad.
The actress playing Mon Mothma, clearly chosen for looking like Mon Mothma, not chosen for any kind of acting skills whatsoever.
She's really good at being sad.
Yeah, she's good at being sad.
Jin is very good at being sad.
Yeah, I'm not going to criticize Jin too hard, other than that speech.
Her scene with like the hologram thing
Yep.
was like really good.
Yep, that was good. Another sort of brutal criticism, another really flow-breaking thing for me. I understand it's not David Prowse in the suit. I get it, but he should still probably try to kind of move like Darth Vader, instead of moving like a guy on the sidewalk in Las Vegas who bought a good Darth Vader costume. Like, there is a demeanor to Darth Vader. He strides purposefully, he doesn't walk. And I was just like, I do not buy this character at all as a dark, imposing, threatening guy. The Force choke scene just about had me cringing my face off.
Okay, the line
It's so bad.
is bad, but that happens a lot. If you look at the previous movies,
Yes,
there's
the
a
line
lot
is
of
bad.
Vader likes his cheesy. He's still
It's
Anakin
too
a little
long.
bit. A little bit. I think a lot of it was just how it was delivered. Because I cringed really hard too, and then I like thought about it afterwards, and I was like, he does that kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah, but here's
it's
the
just
other
like
thing too.
how it's handled.
He doesn't make eye contact with the victim.
Yeah.
It's not intimidating.
Yeah.
He's just like like.
BT dubs, my hand is like this.
It's terrible. It's terrible. The body language of Darth Vader is way off, and then I'm gonna get into the part that's worst. Now, all action movies are guilty of this to an extent. There'll be a scene where someone has to defuse the bomb, and you see the countdown timer, and it's like 12 seconds left, and it's like ticking down, like 3 seconds tick down in the shot, and then it like cuts away to other stuff happening, and clearly like a minute has passed by the time we get there, and there's still a second left. Or there'll be a situation where like someone has to jump. But the trains are pulling apart. They've been detached, and someone has to jump. And clearly they're already far too far apart for then the next shot is like now like this. And they like keep doing it. Where they're moving apart. Oh no, really they're moving apart this time. And then finally they make the jump, and like, you know, this is not complicated math.
Yeah.
How long it takes them to separate. We're like 30 meters apart by the time they jump. They hit the tracks, they die. All action movies do it to an extent, and it's flow breaking for me every time, but Rogue One had one of the most egregious examples of this.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
I have ever seen. So they arrive at the planet or moon or whatever it is. I don't care, because I'm never rewatching this movie. They arrive there, and the shields open, and they're just like, whoa, let's go for it. We got to help them. They're on the surface. This is important. And they get like 4 X-Wing fighters through the hole before the Imperials manage to seal it up. Okay, I mean, and this is ignoring the fact that the rebels are bombing the energy shield instead of the ring structure surrounding it for some completely
that was also stupid,
unbelievable reason later on. Oh, this isn't working against a planetary shield!
And then they see when it like breaks, that thing falls apart, so immediately the whole shield goes away, and it's like, well...
And there's another sort of space movies issue that I have in general here, and that's the whole, our shields are at 60%. Meanwhile, there's like gigantic chunks of the spaceship being blown off by like torpedo blasts and stuff. I'm like, are your shields up or not? Okay. So anyway, while the shield is open,
They could be directional.
like 4 X-Wings get through.
So it could be like 60% of the shield is still intact.
Okay, I've had enough of you. So 4 X-Wings get through. Maybe it's 5. Whatever. The point is, not a lot. Then, for the next 10 minutes, I'm to believe that this one shuttle worth of commandos, which look to be about 20 people, maybe 30 people, and these 4 X-Wings, all of which, every single one of which, you watch get blown up like 3 times over the course of the next 10 minutes. Like, if you go back and watch it and count how many people are, like, they're fighting AT-AT walkers down there. And I'm to believe that they're in a pitched battle for all this time with no reinforcements. There are actually rebel fighters under the shield that are not X-Wings, engaging with an entire squadron of TIE fighters before the shield opens again. They're not even trying. They're not even trying to make it somewhat believable. I'm not asking for it to, like, be perfect. I mean, okay, so the Return of the Jedi space battle, equally guilty of this. You watch the entire Rebel fleet jump into hyperspace. It's like 15 ships. Okay, and then they're fighting against what looked like an entire, like they had a Star Destroyer for every Rebel fighter. Like that battle was over before it started, regardless of what the Death Star does. But at least try. And then finally, the robot. Quite like the robot character. Is it cliche to have kind of the sassy, you know, robot or whatever? Sure. But I can somewhat let it go. He's got some good one-liners. That's fine. But if the Empire had these highly refined versions of the battle droids we saw in the prequel trilogy, why are they deploying stormtroopers to fight anything? I mean, the guy's like catching stuff and throwing it without even looking at it. He takes down an entire squadron of stormtroopers in a heroic last stand at the end, which...
With one pistol while often not even looking at them. To be fair, though, I think part of that was subtlety. Because they're not going to immediately assume that the droid isn't an enemy.
Well, they're fighting. I mean, they're getting shot at.
They were coming in waves.
No.
They were coming in waves.
If they had anything that badass, where was it in New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi? I mean, so there you go. Very flow breaking.
Maybe
bad score.
when they blew up they lost the plans for it. They couldn't make them anymore.
Decent to bad acting.
And they also lost like how to maintain them, which was stored in those archives as well. So they all broke down. And they never made any more.
All right. So thank you for watching The WAN Show. We will see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bye, guys.
This episode of the Star Wars Show brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. I'm not going to say that. I don't have to because you did.